Episode 642 of the Thicc Pod, your home for all things sports, cards, and levity. I am Jeremy from Reckless Cards, and joined as usual by the playa from the Himalayas, Manny Cards. Good evening, young man.
What's up? How are you? And welcome to your hobby release. I'm excited. We did it live on Sunday, but it feels like it's been like 2 weeks since we talked. Because it's probably because we didn't really talk today, and I'm so used to have like text messaging or calling you daily, and bugging you. But I didn't bug you today.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did hit you up with a text message at like 5:30 in the morning and let you know everything that I have accomplished for the pod while you're still laying in bed, sucking your thumb, blowing farts.
Yep.
We're just over here trying to take over the world in the big nothing, the grand blank.
Yep.
I'm excited today. We're going to be talking about trading, thickest of the week, backyard breaks, pulling yet again the premier card to chase. Draymond Green and Mr. Poole playing Mortal Kombat, and the Las Vegas show and the Midwest Monster. We've got some feedback for that. So it's going to be a very fun evening with a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Before we get into it, though, I want to talk about the live. That was truly one of the funnest experiences I've had since doing the pod. It takes a certain amount of you don't know what to expect. You don't know if there's going to be people on, 1,000 people on. So there's a little bit of buildup, like you don't know what to expect. And, fortunate for me, we had Courtney get on and helped us, do a little hand holding. And we had some pretty awesome commentary from the peeps. And it was just a very, very, very fun time.
Yeah, I agree. The only problem is I have ADHD, I feel like, and every comment that would come in, mid-sentence, I would just like read the comment and laugh while you're trying to have a serious conversation. You see me giggling on the side. So I hope that wasn't a distraction. I love the comments. I love that people take the time out of their day, especially like listening to us too, and just listening to what we have to say. And glad they enjoyed it. We've been getting DMs saying that we're actually funny, and I don't know why. I think it's just you making fun of me. I think that's what people like the most, which, hey, I'm okay with it. I'll be the punching bag.
No, you know what? I think it was Cardwax had left us a very nice, very, very, very nice message about the conversation. And the conversation was essentially buying and selling and how we're navigating the hobby. And the live was really set up, and we're going to do another one, I believe, October 23rd, Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Anybody who wants to jump on is more than welcome. And it's just hobbyists chatting with fellow hobbyists, sharing wins, losses, burns, things that are going on, strategies that are working. And it just, again, key thing for me, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. It was fun. I learned some stuff. There was a lot of good information or content in there. And it's also just, when I got done, I started reflecting, right? Because my brain doesn't shut off. And so I'm thinking about things that Court said or things that you said, and how could that be applicable? And what if I'm wrong? Is there a different way I can navigate something to maximize my enjoyment? Not just monetarily, but just as a whole, having some fun.
Oh, yeah. It was a great time. And shout out to one of our, what do you call them? Thickalos. Because after we got into a conversation about inventory and how do you keep track of all your inventory, like bulk deals and everything. One of my friends, Ajax, shout out Ajax. He lives in Portage, actually, another Michigan guy, got a hold of me. He's newer to the hobby, but good with spreadsheets, and was like, here, this is how I do it, and sent me a link to his spreadsheet. So now he gave me like a resource on what he does, and it gave me an idea how I should do my Excel file to keep my inventory.
That's one thing that I'm in a group chat on Twitter. I've been in there for a few years, pretty much since I decided to go pretty heavy in the hobby. And somebody in there had suggested, or they at that point they were actually utilizing Fiverr or Favor. I was on a live where the guy kept calling it Favor, and I'm like, is it Favor? Because I've always called it Fiverr, and if it's Favor, I'm a complete asshole. But he was using Favor to create custom spreadsheets for the sports card community, and at one point I had him forward it to me and utilize it. And it was actually pretty snazzy. Like I'm relatively decent with Excel, but if you want to take it to that next level, I never even considered to go on to Favor and pay somebody, 10, 15, $20 to create a spreadsheet exactly to, my liking or how it would be applicable to how we operate our cards.
Wait. It's fervor. What is fervor? I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't
Is
know what
it you
Fiverr
just go
is?
on? No, you just go on there and you pay people to do your stuff?
Yeah, it's like completely outsourced, independent contractors. So if you wanted to make like a logo for you, your
Oh,
YouTube intro video, your outro, whatever you need, like the cool da ding, smash the like button, all that crap that pops up, you can pay somebody to create
that's
that for you.
okay. That's what that is. I was wondering. I always see people on TikTok. They'll buy like an editor, $5 editor, $10 and 25, and compare them all like as content. So now that makes sense where that came from.
That's where, like, if you watch any of the Reckless Cards videos where it's got like the white with the whoosh and the green and
Yeah.
the orange logo coming in, that was all Fiverr,
Oh,
Favor,
I thought that was
Favor.
you. I thought that was you. I was gonna give you
Dude,
props.
I'm a bad mofo, but I am not talented like that, my friend.
That was I love your guys' intro. Maybe we'll do we'll get a rapper and have him write lyrics for us and then we'll rap the lyrics for our intro.
You know what we should do is we should create a special intro for the Too Thick taste tests because those
Ooh.
things are picking up steam and everybody loves them. You don't even have to like cards to watch us
Yeah.
two buffoons looking like idiots putting weird crap in our mouth.
The problem is our we got child like a 5-year-old's taste buds. We don't like anything but chicken. Well, me, I like chicken nuggets, my mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, and pretty much pizza. And on the other hand, you don't like anything.
Yeah, I'm a legitimate hater, and so I just want something, man. Like we tried the D's Nuts beer, that was pretty good, and like as a tongue in cheek joke on IG, I'll grab a nitro or I'll judge different Starbucks drinks. Like I was just at a Starbucks Reserve the other day, and there's only like one per state, and they're super fancy fireplace. They have a special bar where you can get your barista to make special drinks, and I've got this Americano
Mhm.
that was complete and total horseshit.
And well, hey,
Fortunately for me, it was like my fourth coffee of the day, so it wasn't that big of a deal because I was kind of like I was probably a half a cup away from being like a human vibrator, which that's a lot of caffeine consumption when I start getting the jitters. So I wasn't super mad at it, but it was disappointing.
there's and to people for the people that think Jeremy's lying about how much he eats drinks Starbucks, I went to his hometown and we went to his home station at Starbucks, his home Starbucks. And when he walked in, it was like they pulled out the red carpet, said, "Welcome, Jeremy. Thank you for paying my paychecks." And he cut in front of the line, got what he got gold rim. It was crazy. They knew exactly what you wanted.
So I was for a minute like we were probably over $1,000 a month at Starbucks, which is a substantial amount of money.
Oh yeah,
You know what
I
I
felt like a
mean? And
celebrity with you.
so when I do go in there and they pull out the red carpet, that's to be expected.
Yeah, yeah. You take your talents to Dunkin' Donuts.
So it's again, to me, the important thing is fun. And so I know this is levity, but I had a sobering like 24-hour period, and I'm gonna like share a little bit. And I don't really share personal stuff too much. Um, my daughter had her ninth scope, and she's got something called EOE. And basically, what it was is like so many different foods had to be removed from her diet. The options were at a young age, like, hey, you can feed her anything and just put her on a steroid, but nobody really knows what the long term effects of the steroid are. Or we can do an elimination diet. So from an early age, she started getting scopes. Well, she just had her ninth one yesterday, and knock on wood, like she is going to be a-okay. She's just gonna have to live a life without nuts, tree nuts, dairy, and eggs. So like she can't have them, makes her incredibly sick. But I was going through the children's hospital in Ann Arbor, and I was just like overwhelmed with a sense of, my problems or whatever bullshit is going on in my life and the things that we complain about as American citizens.
Mm-hmm.
I looked around that and I was just, dude, I don't have problems. I'm very, very fortunate and very blessed. And so when I hear, we hear a lot of negativity, Instagram is like not very, it's almost like it's sexy to post about like the market is down, cards are down, everybody's gonna die, nobody likes cards anymore. I am having the time of my life in the hobby right now. I've never had so much more fun. I'm buying cards, I'm selling cards, I'm trading cards. Now there's a segue there if I want to use it, but I choose not to because we can always get back to the trading. Um, but I'm having the time of my life, and I just realized, walking through a children's hospital, that hey man, life is pretty damn good. And instead of like complaining about what I don't have or what bothers me, I'm going to choose to be grateful for what I do have, and I'm grateful to get the opportunity to talk about sports cards and have a laugh and share that with people and interact with like people who enjoy cards as well. So
Oh yeah.
enough of that. I probably people are probably shedding tears. You
Hmm.
never heard, such well-spoken words
Yeah.
articulated from a handsome young man such as myself. But that's my piece. Back to levity.
No, before we go, I do want to say Kaya Bear is like the biggest trooper in the world. She's way tougher than me. So big ups to her. And she's gonna rock the world. Come to celebrity.
Hey,
Um,
she's almost 4 feet tall at 5. So she's like basically the average height of a 7-year-old, and she
oh
just
yeah.
turned 5. She's gonna be my little, 9 footer.
Yep, let's get her started on basketball right now. We'll be
Yep.
collecting her cards in 20 years.
So where do you want to start? You want to start with backyard breaks, pulling the cade? We're Michigan. We with levity. You tried out. A lot of people don't know this. You tried out to be a backyard breaker,
Well,
but you didn't have the chops, is what I
yeah.
hear.
Well, no, they said I can't like because they wear the cut off crop tops, and if I get a crop top, I got a gut, and they don't want my gut to be like on the cards, and sweat on the cards because I'm sweating because I'm nervous. They're
Little
breaking,
tummy sweat.
yeah, a little tummy sweat falling on the cards. That would be my nickname, Tummy Sweat Manny, pulling your cards for you.
I also I remember hearing something that because you chose to not wear the gray sweatpants, and
Yeah,
because you said you weren't going to be slut shamed as a you're just a hobby participant. You're not a sex symbol, and you weren't
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
show off the meat like that.
Yeah, yeah, the meat beef sticks. They didn't want to. I didn't
Beef
want to
sticks
show
and
off my
tummy
beef.
sweats.
Just about that. Hey, if we ever become breakers, your beef sticks have tummy sweats.
Okay, yeah, I'd much rather be, dude. You know what? There's cool about it's perfectly cool to be too thick, but the minute you become tummy sweat, at that point, I'm jumping off the too thick fucking train. No, thank you. I am gonna be part of team no food. Run 50 miles every day. Tummy sweat is not for.
Why do I picture us so? Be us with the green screen. Hey, beef sticks. Can you get the national treasure?
Beef stick and tummy sweat. That we'll have to do that, like in 23, like on April Fool's Day,
Yeah.
or just once in a while, we might have to bust it out where we play a different character, and you get to be tummy sweat, and I can be meat sticks.
I don't think anyone's gonna watch me on YouTube.
So you're the conspiracy theory guy. Is Panini feeding backyard breaks loaded cases, or are they just ripping so much it's the law of average that they get everything?
So I'm actually gonna reverse this because when that gold kaboom crap happened with them, I actually watched them. I'm not gonna be the type of person that like shames them out of the hobby because of that situation. I want to see how they are and how they treat their community. So I've been watching a couple months. Can't afford any of their breaks. It's like $5,000 a spot. They go by NFC East. They'll go by like the divisions, and then they'll cross reference for basketball. So it's like 5,000 because they'll throw out Eminence here, National Treasures, Flawless. But man, they break a ton of high end stuff. I never see like low end that they're if they have low end, they're giving it like a box away. I did see they had Bowman University, and if you they would just randomly give it to a person that's following their Instagram that's watching. Um, so I don't know. I just think they do rip a ton of high end that like you said, the law of averages kick in. But they have been breaking, and then they break 24/7. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think it's Grant and Nikki are the two main ones, and they're ripping, and when they're done, it's done. But at nighttime, they have like other breakers that come in and rip as well the same product. So they're ripping like 24 hours a day.
I'll tell you what, I've never really consumed anything other than like the clippable moments I've seen shared on
Yeah,
Instagram. And I find myself when people just start throwing hate for no apparent reason, I'm trying to make sure I don't fall into that, like,
me
just
too.
because they're younger and I don't understand it, they're automatically assholes, because that's not the case. I don't want to be the curmudgeon that I hated as a kid when people didn't understand why I wore pants hanging off my ass and, sneakers and listen to the music I did. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so I don't want to fall into that. What I can say is they have a loyal following. I don't know the names, but the one main guy, while we were at the Borgata at Atlantic City ripping soccer, he passed through and we were in that private
Oh,
area that we had a table.
Grant.
Yep. And the kids were just waiting for him. And he was very respectful, kind, shook their hands, took pictures, signed autographs, all that stuff. And wasn't at all the person that I see that's portrayed. So to me, a lot of that's a lot of shtick. And it's relatable for young people, right? We live in a generation where you can apparently make a living by just being an asshole on YouTube. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and
And go ahead.
no, I was just gonna put my like, I was like the majority when this happened. I wanted to get a pitchfork and storm backyard breaks and like cuss them out. But then I started, like I said, I was listening to like their actual lives and their breaks. Man, they give away a crap ton of product that people do not realize. Like if you don't hit in their breaks, they're pulling out like hobby box of prism saying, hey, this is your prism box. This is your prism box. And it's not cheap. Or after the national, those gold packs of Panini. Grant ripped
Mhm.
like 20 of them because this guy didn't hit. And he's like, I'm not hitting until I get a rookie and you get to keep all the cards. Like, and the main thing when I did notice in the national, the youth, the people that are going to be in the hobby and get this hobby going in 20 years, all love backyard breaks. So they're bringing in the new generation. Like it or not, they're bringing in so many people, the college kids of the hobby, pretty much.
And without bringing new people into it, as everybody likes to talk about, doesn't expand, it doesn't grow, and there's
Mm-hmm.
not more of us. And so I'm perfectly fine with what they're doing. If you don't like it, you don't have to consume it. But
Exactly.
man, if there's people coming in that like the hobby, that's awesome because I'm sick and tired. If the hobby was just going to the old VFW, once a week, or it's dusty and it was the same old people with the same old shitty cards, no innovation, no advancement, no different. With what this is all created, I started with cards. I never would have known that I enjoyed making content or looking at like the analytics and the numbers of it. You
Mm-hmm.
like the hobby for different reasons, but if there isn't this growth where, maybe I look at cards once a week and it's not a thing because there's nothing fun to get or exciting to do. So
Yeah.
like I'm all for them. In regards to the Cade thing, I mean,
Lucky bastards.
I just think when you rip that much product, you're bound to have a couple of the big hits. And you know what? And here's the thing: a couple of years from now, Cade might not be the guy. Trevor Lawrence might not be the guy. The triple logo man to me wasn't even. It was
Yeah.
cool. Yes, I would take it, but that wouldn't be like from it from a card perspective. That wouldn't even be on my top 50. And
And
we
then
spoke about that before.
exactly. And then I guess if you think about it, maybe they're outsmarting the system. Maybe they are because if me for marketing purposes, if it wasn't them, the main people that were pulling the one of one Cade, it was someone like like one of their breakers when they weren't live. You would think if they knew where the product where the Cade was and they would want to break it when they're doing it so they could get most of the viewers, you know?
If it was me and I knew I had the product, I wouldn't break it. I would let somebody else, so that way.
See, that's
people would
like,
draw that conclusion.
yeah, I'm overthinking it. They big brain me if that was the case. But yeah, I guess if they're not doing anything that's harming the hobby or like cheating the system, like let them be. If you don't like their content, you don't like their content. But there's plenty of people that love their content and they have a backing and a following.
Let me tell you something. When we were breaking on Whatnot before they just opened the floodgates and let everybody sell on
Yeah.
Whatnot, we made it a point that there has to be something special, because if you can buy a basketball card here, a basketball card there, what can you do to separate yourself? So we determined we were going to ship immediately after. So like if
Mhm.
we finished a break at 1 o'clock in the morning, we didn't go to bed until everybody's package was good and ready to go, so that way we could deliver it a few hours later at the post office. And then we tried to make it as entertaining as possible. Now, a Saturday morning audience might be a little bit different, than a Friday night audience. And so what Court and I would do would be, let's cater to that. Let's have fun, And if it was, a little R-rated or NC-17, we would go there. At least if you didn't pull any cards, there was some entertainment. Now, based on the videos I would see, I have never watched a backyards break video, but I would imagine, again, maybe not necessarily something for me, but a teenage kid watching that, I am sure they're having a good time. Now, my one fear, and again, this is coming from somebody who is all about people having equal rights and having a
Oh yeah,
wife and 3 daughters, these young men, I'm assuming that they're predominantly young men, are mindful that there are young ladies who want to get in this hobby, and sometimes those antics,
Mhm.
whether they know it or not, can be hurtful or can turn people off from, being a hobby participant.
Did you know they hired recently a woman breaker named Sarah, I
Did
believe?
they?
Yeah, they have a girl breaker on their team as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know. They are making a shit ton of money because they're on Twitch as well, and that's where I watch them. And Twitch, they have subscribers, and when you subscribe, they get like it's $5 for to subscribe, but they get a portion. Twitch gets a portion, they get a portion. If they have like over 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers per month, that's a crap ton of money that they're
Yeah,
pulling in
that is.
just on their subscribers. So maybe that's where they're giving away everything is just basically their income from Twitch.
Well, let's not get it twisted. Depending on if they have an allocation or they're
Oh
taking
yeah,
something from somebody, what these people pay relative to what it's sold at your card shop is absolutely insane. So when we have the opportunity to buy a small allocation and we see that, you're buying a box for, $500 and it's selling for 3 to 5K, there's a ton of markup. And anybody who's making that kind of money, I would expect, even though I'm all about capitalism to a certain degree, where I want people, if you're smart and you're running a good business, you shouldn't be penalized for being profitable. The way I would operate is if I have the opportunity to make my money and then help some other people out, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered sort of
exactly.
mentality.
And I went on their Twitch and look at it's 9:30 Eastern right now. We're recording and look, they have random people that are not random. I guess it's their breakers. They're breaking right now. So at 9:30 at night, I guess it is at a nighttime where you want to break, but Grant and Nick break like during the day, and it looks like they break like pretty much all day. They have
Yeah.
62,000 followers on Twitch or 66,000. I don't know how many are subscribed. I don't know how to look at that stuff, but man, they get over like 2,000 views on their breaks, and they're
Well, I
not.
mean, here's the thing, dude. We're talking about them. You know what I mean? And so they're doing something right. So no hate from me. I've gotten to the point where if something's not for me, I don't feel necessary. Like I feel there's no value out of me arguing or telling somebody why there's wrong. I just, wish them health, wealth, and success. Or a better one is I wish them what they deserve,
Mhm.
and I go on about my day.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Um, and I guess we'll leave it at that. Everyone knows our views on like backyard breaks now. If you want to come and uh, hate on us now, I guess. But hey, it is what it is. They're not harming anyone. If they, I guess, if it comes out that they're harming, my view would change. But right now, they're bringing people into the hobby.
Well, I mean, if they're harming somebody, you would fully expect somebody from, the Golden State Warriors to leak a video of them
That's
harming somebody. Dude, so what the hell is going on? Draymond's your boy.
yep.
He's out there fucking playing Mortal Kombat with Jordan Poole's head. And then the video gets leaked. Now, I do think that somebody getting popped in the head has happened once or twice, at a basketball practice. But for an organization as well run by the Warriors, I'm sure there's some angry folks that somebody leaked that damn video.
How mad is Steve Kerr because his video didn't get leaked and no one came in and said, "Oh, I feel bad for Kerr because Jordan punched me in the face, and now it's happening." He's like, "Why didn't this happen in the '80s when Jordan decked me and knocked me out?"
Hey, I just want to point out ever since Jordan decked Steve Kerr and popped him in his head, that guy's won a lot of championships, my friend.
Hey,
A
Poole.
lot of championships.
Hey, Poole could be the same. My thing. This is going to be my assuming, and you know what they say: make an ass out of you and me. But they both want max contracts. Draymond thinks he deserves it. Jordan Poole thinks he deserves it. I feel like that was like the clash of what's going on between them two. Sometimes when you know how it is. You played sports. When you're the young kid coming up and you had a good year, you get a little cocky. And I feel like Jordan Poole was probably getting a little peacocky at practice and thinking that he's the best of the best, And Draymond, being the type he is, yes, he did say that he doesn't let people get in his head, but he definitely let Jordan Poole get in his head. Or maybe he's like, you need to get down a peg or two and start talking crap to Poole, which caused the altercation. It's funny that they say it was a cheap shot. It wasn't a cheap shot. Jordan Poole pushed him. You should expect something in return. And that's how I am. Like, always keep your hands up. But man, one hit and he's out cold. That Superman punch, that was epic. He learned that at Michigan State. And Jordan Poole,
The fact that he landed it, you know what I mean?
he learned it at
He fucking
Saginaw.
dropped him like a sack of potatoes, dude. He
Saginaw
just dropped his ass.
Saginaw Valley. That's right. Don't mess with anybody there. But Jordan Poole went to Michigan. Those rivalries still connect.
They don't give a shit about that, man. And it just came out recently of like old pods back in the day or interviews with Draymond singing his praises and saying, he supports him and the young kid is pretty vocal. I just wonder if you're the people who surround Draymond. You're a champion. You have a very unique skill set, and I don't want to diminish what he does for that team. At what point do you trying to get somebody to still be who they are, but turn down the bravado a little bit or understand that's a time and place? This is a many-year vet with a team who's coming off of a championship, who has the ability to contend again, and at some point, physically assaulting your colleagues, your workplace colleagues, is unacceptable. Now, obviously, there's details that we don't know, but at a certain point, it would be nice for Draymond because I think, unfortunately, the way he acts, and he doesn't have to act any sort of way, but I think because of a result of how he behaves and how he portrays himself and his whole, and I don't even want to call it shtick because maybe that's who he is as a competitor. I think people take that and then they negate or they don't give his actual skill set the credit it's deserved. So I'm hoping as he's away from the team that they're taking some time like, hey man, you have to pick and choose it. It's one thing in an NBA finals game to get at it, but as a leader, there's a young kid punching him in the face. What does that solve? No. To me, when somebody can't control themselves and they result to physical violence, I just think that they lack emotional intelligence.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. It's tough because like that dumbass intern, that intern needs to be fired because I feel like this you get some of the players that are saying this happens all the time at practice, right? And it's just been leaked. But like you said, you're a leader of the team. You've been around for a while. It shouldn't come to blows. But did you notice that no one in the team actually like stepped in between these two? Like, what is going on over there? No one was like, everyone was just watching. Kaminga was just like standing right next to him and just let it happen.
Well, I mean,
So
at what point are you like, as like, oh, here's Draymond again, getting loud, like, and like, I mean, obviously, if he's punched people multiple times, I'm sure there's a little bit of a different reaction. Or you know what? Maybe Jordan was talking some stupid shit, and the vets just felt like, hey, man, like we've won championships. It was cute that you played a small little, you hit your little long bank shot three, but calm down, young fella, sort
yeah,
of thing, and they were perfectly content with him getting popped. I do agree that dirty laundry shouldn't be aired. You keep
exactly.
that inside, and that puts him in a weird spot. I think Jordan Poole stands the most to gain out of this if he comes out and says something along the lines of, "Hey, I am in support of Draymond Green. Whatever happened, I deserved it, or he caught me with a good one." Kind of plays it off, has some fun with it, and then goes out and balls out. I
Hmm.
think he ends up getting his money and looks like the bigger person and allows them to keep the core together
Yeah.
because he has every right as a workplace. Like if you and me are, let's say you and me are working at Ronnie's Chop House,
Hmm.
right? The world famous Golden Arch, Ronald McDonald's Ronnie's Chop House.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And I'm assistant fry manager and you are the burger guy,
The
right?
hamburger.
And you come over and I'm like, man, my fries are perfect, crispy, lightly salted, packaged nicely. Your burgers are on some bullshit. You know what I mean? You smear the ketchup and the pickles. People ask for no onions. You put onions on it anyway. You got your head in your ass. And then you come over and punch me in the head. I have the right to tell my workplace supervisor,
Yep.
let's just say that's Court, the assistant manager at the old
I'm going to run
the
the
old
court.
MacDons, or even better, go up to the GM. It's Cali, baby,
Yeah.
and I report you for jacking me in the dome. This is a non-issue, but because it's sports,
Yeah.
these people are treated differently.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's unfortunate because I truly like the Warriors. I think Steph is cool, man. Like James Wiseman coming back, Kamavinga, Poole. Fucking Clay might end up coming off the bench. I don't know, but
Yeah.
there's just so much potential there that I want to see him ball out, man. I want to see some badass basketball, and this is just pulling away from that.
Oh yeah. Did you see Trey Young said, man, Draymond's trying to get to LA as much as possible. He tweeted that. And then you have rumors that he might get traded to the Mavs because Luca wants him. So I was like, let's go. So like a lot of people say Draymond sucks. But Draymond does all the stuff that is not in the stat book. And kind of like Dennis Rodman, where you get into people's head, you do all like the fundamentals, like the pick and roll advantage that he has with Steph Curry is like phenomenal. And people don't realize that because he doesn't get like any points or anything on the stat book for setting a good pick for Steph Curry, right? Or telling them where to go because of the defensive set, or where their offense is running and stuff like that. I would love him on my team, to be honest with you.
A close friend of mine was just at Draymond's wedding,
Oh,
and
really?
so yeah, it was pretty wild. But maybe
He's
there's
with
trouble in
LeBron James
paradise.
then.
Oh
Huh?
yeah, oh yeah.
That's crazy.
I'll tell you, like it's not something I would ever share. Nothing bad, but
Okay.
it's obviously I want to be respectful of people's lives, and since I'm speaking on secondhand, I'm not putting that out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. I'm
That's
gonna
your boy
be
though. Like, yeah, I guess it all comes back to Michigan State. You people don't know how to behave.
no, we don't. Nope. We handle problems too. You want the smoke? I can't take myself serious.
So check this out. We are talking about. I'm preparing for a show this weekend, going up north, like right by the UP. Me and Court are
Awesome.
going to go out there. We're going to do the trade night, and we are going to do the show on Saturday. And this past couple weeks, as a result of work responsibilities, family responsibilities, we, mentioned that we wanted to get out to Las Vegas for the show, or at the worst, get down to the Midwest Monster. And all reports that we're hearing from people is, the shows. This is not indictment on the shows, but the actual foot traffic at the shows probably fell woefully short of expectation.
Yeah, Las Vegas. I was listening to young. Old Heads. That's her, yeah. Young Old Heads. I want to make sure I got it right. Um, and they were at the show, and they were saying that the show there was not that much foot traffic. The only deals really going down were deals from dealer to dealer, which scares a lot of people. It doesn't scare me because you got to look more like the outer picture, like you said. Um, you have a show in Vegas. It starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's a tough schedule. You have to take a couple days off of work, fly there. The summit that people aren't really talking about was a week before. So a lot of people went to the summit prior, and then they would have to stay the whole week. And then they had a nice venue. I heard a nice venue, great dealers, great cards, but just not a lot of foot traffic. And people are thinking, wow, the market's this, the market's that. Every content creator, hey, oh no, the market's down. And me and Jeremy are like, this is the best time of our lives.
Dude, well, here's the thing. I'm sure it's difficult if you came in and you just thought that you could buy, like, let's say, like a Jalen Green optic base card and then turn around and make money. Like, I think most people recognize that was not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe not victim, maybe we're reaping the rewards of having a different path from the jump that to me, like I would love it if cards shot up at a crazier rate. But like the strategy for me is still buy the biggest deals possible, buy in the off season, at the cheapest point, and then get out and take my profit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing the opportunity more and more of that. I do think, and this is speculation, we had reached out to the folks at the Las Vegas show, whoever runs that, I don't remember the name offhand, and inquired about getting a table because everything what they were saying was good. They were talking about the show, like they had UFC fighters signing, they had big name accounts there. And, just from a scheduling perspective, it just wasn't going to work out. I wonder how much of that is when you haven't established yourself as a premier show. I wonder how difficult it is to go from just having a show to trying to do a 400 and 500 table show. And
Yeah.
and I bring this all up because that one card shop that I bought the P Will Gold from was like, we only sell football. There is no basketball. And it just seemed like there's probably not a massive card market in Las Vegas proper. And so to get people to come in and like the timing is a smidge goofy, right? Because you're taking off a couple extra days of like work days as opposed to that being in the weekend. You know what I mean? Instead of just being a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think it was, Wednesday through Saturday or something like that. And on the heels of the summit, which is a long-standing show put on, a lot of big name people are coming in for that for networking purposes or to build their brand. And so I wonder if it was a timing thing coupled with the market, coupled with, hey, man, it's okay to start and do a 50 table show, then a 75 foot or a 75 table show, then 100 and build it up. So I'm not entirely sure, but I will tell you one thing. If you've gone to a couple shows recently, I've had people show cards. I pull up comps and I'll use the Zion Williamson yet again.
Mm-hmm.
Sales all day long over the last month. 850, 900, 1,000, 950, 850, 900. And the guy's like, I can do 1,500. Meanwhile, I can hit the buy it now and buy it for like, 849, 850. And I'm like, and he's telling me what it could be and what it will be. And I'm like, that's not what the card is right now. And so I can imagine if I'm visiting shows and you're seeing that time and time again, all of a sudden, like, hey, man, I might chill. On the shows for a minute.
Yeah. It does come down. It could be fatigue. But I do want to say we were just at a couple shows. Like we went to the Shipshawana. I can tell you one thing. The foot traffic was there. We were swamped the whole time we were working.
That was a show that was built up organically. It
Yep.
didn't become the 180 table show it did overnight. And it's very, big ups to B Sports, and we'll get him on. He's been very mindful and meticulous and very, very particular in the way he's built that show. very selective, making sure it's only a quarterly, not overdoing it, constantly improving,
Hmm.
you know? And so to your point, yeah, the foot traffic's there. I would also like to add, and it's probably not something that people in the South or out West, the Southwest or the Southeast think about. The weather's starting to turn. Like we're in Michigan, and we're probably about a month away from cold, frigid temperatures, snow, and no ability to go outside. So if you come out in our neck of the woods, it's absolutely beautiful. Trees are golden orange, fire red, burnt sienna, a bunch of other damn colors. I don't know, but it's beautiful. And so even us as a family, we're trying to spend as much time outdoors to let our kids, because we know in a month and a half, 2 months, whenever it is, we're going to be locked inside. Oh yeah, and college football's back on, NFL is back on, basketball starting, NHL starting, and you have playoff baseball. And so there's a lot of
One,
things to do, there's a lot of stuff going on. Exactly. So I would expect there to be a little bit less foot traffic.
yeah. I Those are the type of shows though. Like I kind of still wish I was there. Wish I was at the Las Vegas show because these dealers are probably on Saturday, the last day. They're probably like, I haven't got any sales. I need to sell something, and I bet there's
Yeah,
discount galore on that last day.
like that one card they have that's their home run card that they're into for $100, and it's now worth $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden that card might become, you might be able to get that card at a G or 12, 13, 1,400 bucks as they're trying to recoup table costs, fuel, hotel, maybe the couple extra dollars they gambled the night before. Or hell, maybe Vegas is so damn awesome that's not an ideal spot for a card shop or a card show. Excuse me.
No, no. Well, I mean I experienced it at Mint. The last day there was a table that every showcase was 50% off, and I asked why. He said I don't want to take any card back with me. I was planning on selling every card. So basically you could have wiped them out, flipped it for 50. It was 50% of the value. You also have dealers, and I kind of got this out of Atlantic City. I talked to a guy. They're spending like thousands and thousands of dollars at the casino, and if they don't do good, then they're like, "Well, I gotta sell my cards now." So when you go to these card shows,
So just think, we went to the Traverse City show, right?
mm-hmm,
And we found an arcade. We found like a good spot that had music and food, and then we found a cigar bar. And before we knew it, now mind you, we're two old guys going up there, excited to, buy and sell cards the next morning. And we are incredibly responsible adults.
yep,
We got in like 1, 2 in the morning. Neither, if you would have asked both of us, what time are you guys? We'll be back at the hotel after dinner, 9, 10 o'clock. We were going to sit around, play with some cards, grade them, get a good night of sleep. Before we even knew it, it was 1, 2 o'clock. And this is Traverse City. The city's damn near half closed because of, weather and the turning of the season. And we still stayed out. You put people like that who are not as, I don't even want to say responsible because that has like negative connotation, but people are just there to have a good time. All of a sudden the card show doesn't seem like that much of a big deal. I might go on a $2,000 bender, get a free hotel, drink too much, and all of a sudden the show I missed the next day, or I lost so much damn money gambling. Buying cards is not an option.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you kind of have to know the human nature when you go to these card shows as well as like buying when I guess what I've learned at like a Vegas show is don't buy until the end because you get these dealers that need money. And it might not happen to every show, right? In Chicago and National, that's not going to be the case. Um, or maybe it
Well,
will.
I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, we talked about this again in the Lansing show when I picked up like the Zach Wilson Gold out of 10, and some of the other cards. If you're willing to take your time, talk, have conversations with people, understand where they're at. There's so many nuggets that people unknowingly share. And so, like, when you get the guy who's complaining that there's been no traffic and he's losing
Mhm.
his ass, and some of his stuff's relatively priced, or you always have the guy if you just talk to him that's all of a sudden it's like willing to if you spend 200, he's willing to give you $500 in cards just to get cash. Like those people are at every show if you're willing to put in a little bit of work. So maybe that's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna look for shows that I expect there to be terrible foot traffic and try to exploit that or you know, leverage my cash position and take advantage of that, I guess.
You just reminded me of a story I have. First Lansing show I went to, you know, the Lansing one in the mall.
Mhm.
Bailey, you met Bailey. He was there. He was set up, and I was trying to get. This is like my first card show. Shohei Ohtani, they're PSA Topps Chrome 10s, and this is when they were like under, like they were like around $100, 120. He had it at, I remember at 120, and I was just talking to him, and I was holding the card, like looking at it. The more I talked to him, the more he was taking off. He's like, I'll give you 100. You could do that for 100. And then I just continued to talk to him. He's like, I'll take it as $90, $90. And then I kept talking. He's like, all right, 70 is the lowest I can go. He just said, I just want to get rid of it. Like he straight up like just, and then we kind of grew a bond from there. And it's fun to like meet people too and grow those type of like stories. I always have that story with him and we laugh about it all the time. You
Dude,
don't
if,
even
if
have
you catch me in a good mood, and so again, like I only bring cards that are priced to sell. I don't bring shit that like, that I can't, and I'm a big believer in law of sunk cost, and we can talk about it on a different time. But like if I'm into the card for $20 and it's worth 100 and I'm having a good day, I'll let it go for 50.
Mhm.
I made $30 and somebody else can buy it and turn around. Nothing's greater than when I see somebody take my card, go sell it to another dealer, come back and buy something different. That's an awesome feeling. Not
Oh yeah.
just because they bought a second card, but because, you left some, I guess, meat on the bone.
Yeah, for
You know what I
sure.
mean?
Yep. And I want to bring this up. So we're 50 minutes in. We before our podcast started, we are like, man, we got some topics. Maybe we'll try to get it through all of them through. We'll probably get it through. We haven't even got to our main topic of what you want to talk about. And I just wanted to bring that up. Do you want to talk about trading right now?
Yeah, well, so like the
Here's a
show
second.
thing makes for like a segue, right?
Yep.
And one thing I've noticed is I always dealt with cash. To me, it was easier. I much prefer just to give you cash. It makes it nice and clean and crisp. Well, over the last, 6 to 8 months, I've participated in trading a little bit more, and I found it to be a very, very enjoyable experience. I would almost argue that it's necessary to continue to churn inventory, to move cards, and having the flexibility to trade up, trade down is so awesome. And so what I've noticed too is that a lot of these shows, people are so upside down in cards, or they're not willing to get there, that all of a sudden trading becomes a very important what's the word I'm looking for? A very important action that can help you with your collection. Like if you have cards stuck and you can't move them via sale for the money you want, well, all of a sudden, if you're willing to trade down, and I'm a big fan of trading down. I love taking something that I can. Let's see if I have something.
When you trade
Let's
down,
see
while
if
you
I.
look, when you trade down, are you giving it a little bit more of a value than you would cash value because you're trading
Yeah,
down?
well, yeah, because there's.
You should,
Yeah.
right?
So
That's
This is. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying that's a given, right? If you're going to trade down, you want to go a little bit higher than what the comps are.
Sure. Sure. I mean, because there's additional work, and so for instance, you got a messy orange out of 25,
Mm-hmm.
SGC 9.5. Somebody might look at this and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to buy it and crack it." There's an additional money to be made if it's a PSA 10 as opposed to an SGC 9.5. I might say, "Hey, I have this card. I really don't want to crack it. I really don't think it's going to go up that too much. Sure, it's short printed, it's numbered, it's
Mm-hmm.
an all-time great, but I might not get the 200 to 300 or $400, whatever the card's valued at. However, there might be some guy who has a bunch of basketball, who he really doesn't care about basketball and is a soccer guy and would love nothing more than to have that card. Next thing you know, we're having a conversation. I might be able to take on three, four, five, $600 worth of cards, some graded, some raw. And I'm always, if you can get somebody who's honest and shares pictures, if I can get some high level raw cards where there's upside just in the player or the card, but then also you add that arbitrage opportunity of grading it, to me, it makes for a great way to operate.
especially with the grading prices being at $18 for PSA and SGC now. That's kind of
Yeah.
like a good play that I didn't really think about for trading down. I'm not me and you, I just learned, like, I just went to my first trade night with you. I'm learning the aspects of trading through you because I'm the type that's nervous to trade online too, because I don't even know how that works. Every time someone asks, will you trade? I say no right away because I'm too scared that I'm going to get burned. Because how does that work? He could easily set a tracking and never send the card, and then I send it.
Well, so here's where my fear of rejection and being online like really hinders me. And I was thinking about this the other day because I'm like, I would love nothing more than to trade online. If I buy online, I pay goods and services. I don't care. Like if
Yeah.
it's somebody I don't know, that I have an established relationship, I'll go friends and family. But I'll pay goods and services and I'll cover the, just let's just say 3%. So that net number still gets to them. But my fear is, if they don't sell me the card, I can just, and I had that happen when we were building the Dewdrop Rainbow. Some guy ripped me off for, a $75 Dewdrop card. But I filed a complaint, and within 24 hours, I had my money back.
Mm-hmm.
My fear is if, some egg avatar on Twitter hits me up and we start going,
Yep.
that for somebody who's a gambler and is willing to take chances for whatever reason, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I don't get how people trade online. Like, only if I know you, I'm willing to like trade with you online. But when you put on Twitter the buy, sell, trade, and you put your cards and you get DMs to say, "Hey, are you looking to trade?" I instantly hurry up and say, "Nope, not at the moment. Maybe in a bit," because I'm like, I don't trust anyone. I guess maybe it's
Well,
just my personality.
so this is what I want to know. I want to know what's the etiquette for doing that, and
Yeah.
what is this like the standard operating procedure. And I know, Bro Namath is working on something to like essentially a platform where you can trade safely.
Mm-hmm.
Is like a high level way of saying it, because there's a lot of times where I was working a deal, and I'm like, man, this is just, and for whatever reason, something tugs at me, and I get that moment of doubt, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want this, $500 card getting lost in the mail, or this person taking, because I know the minute you and me make a deal, I'm going to go package my cards and send them
Yeah.
out, and we are going to be good to go.
Yeah. Same.
So I just want to share a fun experience I had. So I found a big name page, a reputable page, somebody I've heard on several podcasts, and essentially their page is always buy, sell, trade. They'll buy, they'll sell, they'll trade up, they'll trade down. So they had a card that I was interested in, but I didn't know like the etiquette, because I'll tell you what, and this is a quirky thing about me. When somebody just slides in and like says, you trade, without like an introduction, they don't say who they are, they don't identify what they're interested in, they don't identify what they have available. There's probably been great people that I've just killed the deals with, because I'm like, if this is how this person interacts, this is going to be the person 2 weeks from now that's like, oh yeah, I'll get you your tracking. I forgot it. I wrote it down in the receipt and it got thrown away. I just automatically assume people who like slide into the DMs like that are those sorts of people. So knowing that about myself, I find this page and I find this gold refractor old school basketball card that I really wanted to make a run at and trade up into. So I went through his page. I read like every post. I got a good feel of the cards he was interested in. So because I don't like no,
Mm-hmm.
like, so I'm filled with like anxiety, and granted, it's more of a me thing. So I type out this, good evening. My name is Jeremy. Nice to meet you. We're Reckless Cards, yada, yada, yada. I found this card that you have posted on this date at this value. I'm interested in potentially trading up into it or doing a trade plus cash, cash and card deal. Yada, yada, yada. Please see the attached pictures of front and back pictures, serial number exposed on the slabs, along with like my pricing. And my man, like, he responds right away and he's like, "Hey, cool. I'll look at this and I'll circle back." It was like later in the evening, and I was like, "Hey, man, no rush. I appreciate you even for the consideration." So I'm then like, I am like nervous because I'm like, I felt like my offer exceeded, and I had listened to some of his pods. So I felt, or at least I felt like I was close, and I felt like my cards matched the criteria for him. And for me, it felt good because I had a lot of upside in those cards.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say the cards, like from a comp value, were between 45 to 4,500 to 5,000 all day, with the exception of one card. One card, you could have essentially like a 500 to $1,000 swing one way or the other. I could have been middle of the road. I could have been high. I could have been low. So let's just say I'm off by 1,000. It's still 3,500. I was into those cards for 15, 1,600. You know what I mean? And so the card I was trying to take back was like a $4 or $5,000 card, and then he never responded. So like that whole night, I kept checking the DMs, like nervous, like am I getting ready to do like trading makes me nervous,
Yeah.
yada yada yada. And then I look, nothing. I look, nothing. A day goes by, nothing. And the guy conducts himself very well. And so now I'm in this weird spot. Does he just hate me and my cards? Or did he potentially, he gets so many, I mean, he's got like 30,000, 40,000 followers, 50,000 followers. Did maybe he just forget and he gets so
Yeah.
many messages, my stuff got knocked down. So then I'm in this weird spot where I don't know how to follow up and what's the proper, hey, did you just hate my cards and weren't interested? If so, the least you could do is tell me to go F off, or hey, I'm not interested in your cards. You know what I mean? So if trading, I guess my question is like, what's the etiquette? Like how do you do it?
See,
Or am I overthinking it and it's just say, sup, you trading, and then throw a picture of 75 cards and then go from there?
that's how most people, the most DMs I get. But I would say if you really want the card, you're gonna have to ask them again. Just say, hey, did you circle back or something? It's fine if you don't want these, just let me know
Yeah.
so I know. I'm really interested in that card. And I kind of want that card. If not, then I could sell these cards to someone else. But I have that issue. So like here, I'm the piece of shit. Here's the other side of the story. And I'm just realizing that I'm the piece of shit because I have two DMs on Twitter where I'm saying they gave me a cost of the cards that I asked, and I forgot to respond, and then you just reminded me, and it's been like a week, and they're probably like, "This asshole asked for the price and never like said anything else," and I'm like, "Oh no, I am that piece of shit. I'm sorry." I just get busy with life, and I forget to like respond, and I even forget about the cards until I go
Yeah.
back in like my DMs because I read it. I just never respond at that moment.
So have you ever heard of what can you do if you're trading to protect yourself?
Yeah.
If anything, I know there's like the vouch thread, but those could easily be fabricated. So
So,
to me, like I look at like accounts like Empire Sports Cards and these
yep,
people who are reputable. I've heard them on multiple pods where there's a lot of big name people. And like for like Empire, I know I've done deals with Shay. Obviously, they're into business together somehow, so I feel comfortable that like somebody like that, like it's going to be a non-issue. It's these accounts where you don't know who they are, anything about them, that quite frankly make me nervous and probably prevent me from working with a lot of good people and doing some good deals.
what I've seen in the past is people have like a common friend or a common person they know, and I've actually seen them. They both shipped the card to that person, and then paid like the double shipping so they could ship it to like they could do like the
Ooh.
trade. Because I would pay the extra. I would pay the shipping cost to get it to that common person, and let him ship it when he got that card. So then he gets both cards and then ships. I don't know, that would be what I would feel the most comfortable doing. Say, like for example, I'm doing a deal with, I'm going to pick on someone I know, Matt, frat Matt, and we're doing a trade, and this is prior that what I didn't know him, And I'm like, hey, Reckless, I know that you guys talk to him all the time. Is it fine if I ship you the card and have him ship you the card? And then I'll pay for the shipping to do the exchange. I feel like you would do it.
110%. And actually, I think that, kind of ties into the importance of having different groups and people that you can lean on because with our hobby being so niche and small, I'm sure most corners of this earth you can find a
Oh, yeah.
common friend or somebody who can be trusted where they act as like the middleman. So I think that's actually, I don't know, so simple. I didn't even think of it.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot on Facebook groups because the admins, it was like one of the rules in one of my Facebook groups. If you trade, you have to send it to an admin, and then they would ship it so it gets done properly and not like there would be scammers because they were trying to avoid scammers at that time.
So let me tell you something. I wouldn't do a deal with Frat Matt. A guy will rip you off every step of the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We love you, Maddie.
Yep, we love
So
you.
yeah, man.
I'll,
Like, so to me, the trade thing is fascinating. It's also a way that you can get into some cards with dealers without taking a hurt on the pocketbook. And so I'm trying to be more open and mindful to making deals. I wish there was like this is an SOP, like just a standard operating procedure.
mm-hmm.
Like you say hello, you introduce yourself, you identify which card, you share which cards you have available, and then the conversation is nice and clean and crisp. And then hey, dude, and I'm probably in my own head, but I'm also like I understand how busy I get.
Yep.
Like people slide into the DMs and I don't respond for like 8 9 days, and it's not because I can't or I don't want to. It's because I have real life. I've got responsibilities. So you'll get a flurry like on a Sunday morning at 4:13 in the morning where I'm thinking about cards. I'm going to respond.
Oh yeah.
The whole back and forth communication thing just trips me up. Like I understand people get busy, but when I'm on the business, I'm like, oh man, this guy hates me. Doesn't like my cards.
That's how
And
I
so I
am.
think just like I'm even the guy who sends an email like, "Hey, just a gentle reminder," or just bumping this to the top of your inbox, sort of thing, instead of just being like, "Hey, man, I'm your fucking boss. Give me an update. What the hell's
Yeah.
going on here, dude?"
The best thing is I keep laughing when you say it because I know you now that I know exactly what you put in the DM. Hey, I'm Jeremy from Reckless. I love your collection. It's probably one of the best collections. I'm really interested in this particular card. And like you said, on this date, this price, I don't know where your wiggle room is, but I really would love to try. I could just see a big old paragraph. And then you do get the people, hey, so up, you want to trade?
Dude, like I am like I interpret and I'm like my everybody is rude via email except for me.
Yeah.
I always I'm like always I hope you're having the greatest day ever. Thank you, yada yada yada. I appreciate this.
It's
So
funny.
it
I
always
love you,
and so
Jeremy.
I make my team do the same thing. So like if I'm copied on emails and let's say they're emailing a customer, an owner, or something like that, I will call them and be like, "Do you want to read that fucking email? Do you want that? You're conducting business. That person has the money. How about you say something nice to them?
Yeah.
Like how often do conversations go bad when you're over the top, complimentary, authentic? I'm not saying be like a liar, but if you can find some good and you can have a positive interaction, why wouldn't you go that route? Why are you going to be rude and short?
It's funny that you do that because you actually text me the same way too. You're like, "Hey, Manny, I just want to know how you're doing. You're the best." Blah blah blah. Whole paragraph. I'll be like,
Yeah, but
Jeremy's not working.
you get the leftovers when I'm exhausted. You should see me on like come Tuesday morning when we're wheeling and dealing. I'm call after call after call, man. I am fucking laying it on thick, baby.
The thickest. Maybe you should be the thickest of the week. And hey, look at
Nah,
that
dude,
second.
thickest of the week. My man, what Manny's getting ready to show you. I have an idea of what it is. I saw a screenshot and
All
I
right.
follow sports, but my man might be thickest of 22.
All right, here I'm gonna pull it up. And me being a college football fiend, I saw this lineman, 480-pound lineman, Desmond Watson for the
Ooh,
Florida. So I'm gonna turn down the
almost
volume.
5 spins, dude.
Wait, wait till you see this guy's legs. All right, I'm gonna start it.
Freshman defensive tackle Desmond Watson has checked into the game. This young man arrived on campus at 480 pounds.
Dude, he is like 350 pounds waist down, 130 pounds waist up. That big truck has some big wheels, man.
Very flexible for somebody his size.
The best is he moves. He moves. Yeah, he can move. Watch him.
Watch like my waist.
You can't move a guy that big.
Dude, that guy squats like 800 pounds, I bet.
Oh yeah.
Look at that donkey. Look at that fucking donkey.
There's
You don't run into the big fella.
no.
And now Mangum takes it.
Wait till
Nope.
Jeremy sees this tackle. Right here.
Oh, little. Oh, all I can think of is like Jim Ross going, "I'm sorry, Mama. I had to say it. Run, Grammys. Run." My man's got a fucking Gatorade towel coming out of his asshole.
Yeah.
A Gatorade tail.
Sorry. Yeah.
Freshman defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Desmond
All right, so thickest of the week, my guy, Desmond Watson. Are there Desmond Watson cards?
Look at this
Because
ankle.
I am all in.
He like picks him up. He picks him up and
Dude,
boxes him.
I am Desmond
Watson.
Yep. I don't see any Desmond Watson cards, but I might start buying those I might buy a box of Collegian if he's in there.
Yeah, we need to get him.
I am all in on the Desmond Watson fucking rainbow. That stuff has to happen. You know you're thick, bro, when you lose 100 pounds and you're still like touching four balloons. You know what I mean?
The best is he's quick. He's 480, but he's quick. Imagine.
Hey, man. I appreciate it. I love it.
I do
Desmond
too.
Watson, my guy. So I got a couple of dates for you, dude.
All right.
And these things are starting to get busier and busier, and we'll figure out a much cleaner and clearer way to share it. October 23rd, the next live. Anybody is welcome. I don't care if you've got one follower. If you like sports cards, you're more than welcome to join on. We can cycle through people. We can keep a couple people on. Doesn't matter to me. We just want to talk hobby. And then 10/29, we're going to be doing a fire sale on the SCI Discord. And there'll be more. If you're wanting to get a grip of awesome cards at a great price, that's the spot to get it.
And I do want to say on that live, I don't want to hear excuses from Matt. I don't want to hear excuses from Will saying that, oh, I have family things come up. We are telling you 2 weeks in advance, be prepared. I don't care if it's on a phone or a laptop. Get your ass in our live. We want to talk to you. So I just wanted to put that because they gave the excuse and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I can't do it. Double coverage, you too.
Yeah. Andrew, yeah.
Hail Mary.
Get on there.
You Hail Mary. By the way, Hail Mary wants us to do the one chip challenge, and I told him that you have to do it because I might die for our taste test.
What's the one chip challenge?
It's that spicy hot, like chip, like the hottest chip. Look it up. You could do it. I can't do spicy. Like I literally would pass out.
We just recorded this one, and it was like they're called jelly straws, and it was fucking disgusting. It sucked so hard. So I hoed myself out for the Too Thick fam. So another Too Thick taste test video will be dropping sometime this week. But yeah, man, please continue to smash the subscribe button. There's got to be a cooler way to say it. It sounds so fucking corny with everybody saying the same damn thing.
You sound like Vince McMahon. Smash fire.
You're fired. Yeah, hit that button, like us, follow us on all the socials, continue to spread the word, man. We really, men and women, we really appreciate it. And I guess until next time, I hope you enjoyed that release.
Peace.